You anytime had additions so bashed on ability that they absolutely anticipate they own your house. Yeah, that's my HOA Karen. One day, she obsessively I was actionable affiliation candor and absolutely approved to adios me from my own property. What she didn't apprehend was the judge's reaction, and assurance me it was absolutely priceless. Before we get started, I've got a quick catechism for you. Drop a animadversion with your area and the time area you are. I'd adulation to see area in the apple your affability in from. All right, so here's how this bazaar started. My name's Ethan, and I alive in a quiet, mid-sized burgle neighborhood. You know, cookie-cutter homes, manicured lawns, and an HOA that treats every mailbox like an aggressive checkpoint. I confused actuality 5 years ago afterwards accepting answer at my job in logistics. I bought a appropriate house, annihilation crazy, aloof a adequate tooth, story with a acceptable backyard and a advanced balustrade area I could assuredly relax afterwards years of renting. The HOA admiral aback I confused in was this adult alleged Karen Whitmore. Classic Karen, consistently in khakis, colossal sunglasses, and a abiding announcement like she aloof smelled asleep milk. She collection one of those golf carts bashed with HOA administration stickers like it was a brand of honor. At first, things were okay. I followed the rules, paid the dues, kept my abode clean, but Karen, she consistently begins something. First, it was my debris bins actuality arresting from the street. Then, it was my grass actuality a adumbration too tall. Once she alike beatific me a apprehension because my garden corrupt wasn't coiled properly. My ambition I was joking. Anyway, about 6 months ago, I obsessively to hire out my basement to an acquaintance of mine, Jake, a adolescent adept who'd collapsed on boxy times afterwards a back injury. He was quiet, respectful, and paid hire on time. We alike arrested the HOA handbook together. Annihilation in there about renting a allocation of your acreage to a tenant, but allegedly Karen anticipation otherwise. 3 weeks afterwards, Jake confused in, I begin a blaze orange envelope taped to my advanced door. It read, Notice of Affiliation Violation, Crooked Tenancy. You accept 14 canicule to abolish all occupants or face boot proceedings. Boot from my own house. I laughed at first. I anticipation it was a mistake, but afresh I got an email from Karen herself. Ethan, as per HOA guidelines, no home may be acclimated as a multi-residential dwelling. Your accomplishments are an absolute abuse of our affiliation agreement. You accept 2 weeks to exceed or vacate. Abandon my own home, I responded immediately. Karen, my friend, is renting a accomplished basement, not a abstracted unit. I alive here. I own this property, and I'm in abounding acquiescence with burgle and HOA codes. She accursed aback in beneath 5 minutes. We'll see what the lath says about that. An assurance me, aback Karen said the board. She meant the 3 added retirees who do whatever she tells them. An anniversary later, I got invited, added like summoned, to an appropriate HOA hearing. Aback I showed up. Karen was sitting abaft a folding table like she was authoritative over the Supreme Court. She had her little binder, a cup of coffee, and this complacent attending like she'd already won. Mr. Brooks, she said, we've advised your case and bent your acreage use as non-compliant with affiliation standards. You are to abolish all tenny and restore your acreage to distinct ancestors' use. I said, you apprehend I am the ancestors active here, right? Karen didn't flinch. The lath has fabricated its decision. Failure to exceed will after effect in acknowledged action, including accessible abatement from the premises. Now, I'm a calm guy, but I could feel my claret boiling. They were talking about removing me from my own house, one I paid every mortgage acquittal on. So, I smiled and said, okay, Karen, you do what you accept to do, but accomplish abiding your paperwork's perfect. Because what she didn't perceive was, I almanac everything. Every email, every text, every letter, every meeting, and oh boy, was I about to charge them. 2 weeks later, I get addition envelope. alone this time, its official attractive certified mail. Inside was an assemblage of papers, HOA against Ethan Brooks' address for eviction. I had to apprehend it. Twice, they'd absolutely filed it in Canton Court. They accused me of actionable affiliation apartment codes, devaluing acreage values and my admired part, endangering the community's integrity. Endangering integrity. My associate Jake works nights at the Blaze administration and spends his weekends acclimation bikes for adjacency kids. Some menace, So, I assassin an attorney, Melissa Kine, smart, sharp, and with a altruism action for nonsense. Aback, I told her the story. She absolutely laughed. They're aggravating to adios a homeowner from his own home. Oh, this will be fun. She filed a motion to abolish Anon and requested an academic hearing. The day of the hearing, I absolved into cloister cutting my best suit. Karen was already there, sitting in the advanced row with her clipboard, and a man who looked like he'd rather be anywhere else, probably the HOA lawyer. Aback our case was called. Karen strutted up like she was about to bear the closing altercation in an annihilation trial. She began, "Your Honor, the defendant, Mr. Brooks, is in absolute abuse of our affiliation covenants by operating a multi-tenant dwelling," which the adjudicator interrupted. "Hold on. Your adage you're aggravating to adios a homeowner who owns his acreage outright." Karen blinked. "Yes, Your Honor. His accomplishments aperture our HOA bylaws." The adjudicator leaned back, eyebrows raised. "Does your HOA accept ascendancy to accomplish evictions?" Her advocate stepped in, fumbling. "Your Honor, while not typical, our affiliation has the appropriate to accomplish acquiescence through acknowledged remedy." The adjudicator sighed, and that acknowledged antidote is not eviction. That's a freeholder addressee issue, not an HOA matter. I could almost accumulate a beeline face. A fresh Melissa stood up, calm and confident. "Your Honor, my client's acreage acceptance complies with both burgle ordinances and the recorded HOA covenants. There's no article akin centralized tenancy. Furthermore, we accept affirmation of aggravation and awful administration by the HOA president." Karen's advocate approved to object, but Melissa handed the adjudicator a fat folder. Emails, notices, photos, the accomplished timeline. The adjudicator addled through it, pausing at one of Karen's emails. The one area she absolutely said, "will accomplish him ambition he never confused here." The attorneys went silent. The adjudicator looked over his glasses at Karen. "Mrs. Whitmore, did you address this?" Karen stammered. "I was taken out of context." The adjudicator put bottomward the binder and said, "I anticipate I've heard enough." He angry to me. "Mr. Brooks, you're chargeless to abide active in your home. This case is absolved with prejudice. And as for the HOA," he looked aback at Karen, "consider this a warning. Harassing homeowners with bottomless claims can after effect in acknowledged consequences." "Do I accomplish myself clear?" Karen nodded silently, face red as a stop sign. Afterwards, court, Karen stormed out after adage a word. I was activity appealing good, but Melissa wasn't done yet. She said, "We're filing an adverse affirmation for aggravation and defamation. Let's accomplish abiding this doesn't appear again." We did, and oral weeks. The HOA Lath alleged an emergency acclamation to abolish Karen as president. Turns out, I wasn't the alone one ailing of her ability trips. By the end of the month, she was gone, replaced by an abundant friendlier guy, alleged Tom, who came by my abode with donuts and an acknowledgement letter. He said, "We're so apologetic for how things went down. We appetite to accomplish this right." And get this, they absolutely voted to balance me for all my acknowledged fees. But the best moment came 2 weeks after Aback. I was sitting on my balustrade and saw Karen drive by. She slowed down, audacious at me from her new beat-up sedan. So I aloft my coffee mug and said, "Morning, Karen." Still active in the neighborhood, she sped off. Since then, the HOA been calm. We alike host baby BBQ, basin parties, and affiliation nights, article that never happened beneath her rule. Jake still rents the basement, and the neighbors adulation him. He alike volunteers to mow lawns for aged brace a budding door, And every time I canyon by that courthouse, I anticipate about the judge's face a back Karen approved to explain why she anticipation she could adios a homeowner. His aloft countenance said it all. Priceless. So if there's one affair I abstruse from all this, it's that you don't accept a ball to win, aloof break calm, certificate everything, and let the law handle the Karens of the world. Because sometimes a men's doesn't aloof win, it smiles while doing.